The time that they spend together is time when Sarah can just be herself every couple of weeks.
Sam can't express that to us exactly. All I can say is that when the volunteers get here, he gets very excited.
Friendship Circle gives a chance to interact with other friends outside of her special needs realm.
I think helping other people really makes me feel better about myself, like overcome their disability.
Friendship Circle is a win-win situation. The families benefit and the teens get a lot out of making friends with these children in the community. Actually, I got a phone call from someone in the community who had a friend with a child who's just diagnosed with autism. And her friend called her up and she said, I feel so alone. Who do I call? Is there anybody in our community? I really want to get some support.
I think it helps you feel like part of the Jewish community.
It is nice that they do things centered around the Jewish holidays. So we get to celebrate the Jewish holidays in a way that we might not be able to otherwise celebrate because it's not always easy to bring Sam to synagogue.
Generally speaking, our volunteers make a visit either once a week or twice a month. They play games, read stories, they bring their ideas, their imagination, their creativity, they bring their love, they bring their friendship.
It's like a rewarding experience and it's fun and it's not like volunteer work, it's like making a new friend.
I would call it friendship, but it's a two-way street with them. Both the volunteers are Sarah's friend, but Sarah's also their friend.
I think both Brandy and I mean a lot because when we come to visit her and we haven't seen her for a while, she runs up and gives us a big hug and it makes me feel that we do mean something.
It is just wonderful. When I tell her that the volunteers are coming, she's always jumping up and down and she watches out the window or out the door and she can't wait till they come. She gets so excited. Gila ran up and gave them both the biggest hug and kiss. And I could see how excited they were to be here.
It makes me feel better about myself, like that I'm helping her and I just like to interact with her.
You really help other people and it makes you feel better about yourself and I think it makes you a better person by doing it.
I think that we tend to look at our children as needing something all the time, and so we're always trying to put something into them that they need to have. And what Friendship Circle does is it gives them an opportunity not to have something put into them, but for them just to be themselves, to have more freedom to act the way they would like. At least for a period of time, there aren't expectations and goals and objectives that they have to live up to.
The truth is, she's just so excited when they come. They all horse around and they play basketball and they play games and they play house and she just gets so excited.
When we first began the program 3 years ago, people in the community were really excited. The families were thrilled that we called. Then there were some families who had some questions. They weren't sure how exactly Friendship Circle would be able to help them.
Esther Kaltman called me a couple of times and got me involved, and she was quite persistent because I was quite hesitant in the beginning to share Gila, and once we got started a few years ago, we've never looked back.
Thank you to Esther and Aryeh Kaltman for getting it started in Columbus, Rabbi Meir, and I believe Mr. Garlikoff, made a special gift this year to help fund the program.
The Schottenstein Chabad House serves all Jews, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, non-affiliated, or any Jew that moves.
Definitely recommend, that they get involved with. I think it's healthy and important for both of our children. I think any way that you can find to connect with the Jewish community is important.
I'm not sure that they understood what they were getting into when they signed up, but I think that they do know when they've connected. And Sam was, he's giggling and smiling and hugging.
At first, I was a little bit cautious about doing this because I was a little bit, worried about how I would act or something like that. But really, when you come and you see these kids, they're great kids, and it's fun, and you get a lot out of it. You feel good about yourself, and you think that you're actually making a difference in someone's life, and that's good.
It really doesn't feel like you're putting much into it, but you actually get a lot out of what you're doing.
I keep telling the teenagers how much I admire them for their kindness and their sharing of their precious time with the children with special needs. In fact, when Chabad brought down the coach of the Buckeyes, Rabbi Kaltman pointed out all the heroes in attendance.
Sergeant John Buckley, could you please rise? I also want to thank two other heroes who didn't go to the battlefields of Iraq, but in my life, I consider them heroes. Now, who could they possibly be?
They called me and Brian up, and we had no idea this was going to happen, so we stood up in front of all these people and they clapped for us. And
Steve and I were shocked. I was almost shaking. I mean, standing up in front of the people we don't know and being recognized as heroes, we really didn't look at it like that. Like, we think we're just playing around with a couple kids, but people look at us as heroes.
Coach Tressel was talking about what he stresses most to his team. In addition to all the strategies and the staying in shape and all the patterns and schemes, but most important is
for their service to others. And that's what leadership is all about. And the two youngsters were introduced not for their accolades in the classroom or not for their accolades in the music field or the athletic field or whatever their skills happen to be, but they were recognized.
Soon after, we got the thrill of meeting an NFL player, and later I received an email from Steven, something to the effect like, "Thanks again for today, Brian and I will remember this for a very long time." And I responded to the email, "I think Sam and Adam won't remember you for a very long time. In fact, you had a much greater impact on Sam and Adam than Coach Jim Tressel had."
It makes you realize that you're doing a lot more than you think you are when you're playing with kids or doing whatever, any type of community service, maybe Friendship Circle or anything else. You're doing a lot more than you think you are. It means a lot to people.
It's really nice to be able to have a non-stress time when she has friends over and they can play with her, and I can go in the other room and let her enjoy them without my being a part of it.
The teens in our program really bond with the children. They look forward to their visits. They really think about what they're going to do with their children before they go, because they really want these kids to have a great time with them, and the teens have a great time with them.
I think she looks at them like big sisters. They come over and they play with her, but they also seem to give her guidance, and they just have a great time together. She was so excited to see Rachel and Lauren. They've just recently started coming back again, and the look on her face was amazing. Gila's bat mitzvah is coming up, and when I asked her who she wanted at her bat mitzvah, the volunteers were in the top 10 list of people that she wanted me to invite, which is just amazing.
I like when Gila reads her Torah portion, but she won't do it a lot. And I like when she smiles. No. I don't know. I just like being here with her.
In addition to having, Jewish support and somebody coming to work with Sam, it was also very important for us, for Adam to see that, that there was help and that our community cared, and was sending in resources and people to, to play with both of the children.
Teens sign up for the program, and then we actually have a training session where they come, they find out about special needs.
At the training session, we get to learn how to interact with others, do a lot of enjoyable activities, and just sort of learn more about the experiences of others who have enjoyed being in the Friendship Circle.
We had different speakers that talked about challenges that the children have and how to deal with them, but how to be a good person for them to look up to and to be fun with them.
But now I'm seeing how we can really help these kids if we just participate in the Friendship Circle. And I think that's a really good way to help out the...
Despite the many social events that we have for the volunteers, including the Cavaliers game, we went to a Cavaliers versus the Pacers, the bowling and the Purim Bash, which was amazing. The volunteers are into it just for the volunteering. The social events are just a side bonus. It's inspiring and it's rewarding for me to work with.
Oh, I know I'm very different by the things I cannot do. Why I'd find it hard to tell you my own name. So you wonder just who am I as you try to hide your eyes. But believe me, you and I are much the same.
It makes me think more about people with disabilities and that they have a lot of depth to them. Even if they've got problems with them, they're still just like me.
Don't you marvel at a sunset as the rays shine through the clouds and the night begins to take over the sky? And don't you love the sound of laughter and a lively, happy tune. Oh, then we are not so different, you and I.
It makes you realize that there are a lot of people like that in the world.
Yes, I know my legs can't hold me, and I cannot shake your hand, and that looking at me makes you feel so strange. So you wonder just who am I as you quickly pass on by. But believe me, you and I are much the same.
You know, in the first time when you're a young child yourself and you run into somebody who's handicapped, whether they're in a wheelchair or they're different, and little children would have a tendency to stare. And the first thing your mother does is tell you, don't stare, don't stare. You know, and we all translate that to don't look, rather than looking and saying hello. So I think it's important, you know, that these kids, the teenagers, the volunteers that are working with Sam now, you know, have found a way to connect with somebody who's very different, you know, somebody who has a handicap in some way.
And I think the volunteers, it makes them have a different outlook on life.
And that loneliness is worst of all, I'm sure you will agree. Well, then we are not so different, you and I.
But the best part of it is seeing how happy Gila is.
And do you know the joy of friendship, of caring and of love? Somehow I get the feeling that you do. Then we are not so different, we are very much the same. For you do know who I am, yes you do know who I am.
I'm able to look at other people and realize some people are different, but at the same time they're just as important as me or as other people I know.
I'm just like you.
When Sam's happy, everybody's happy. You know, the whole world is happy when Sam's smiling and giggling.
It could make the world a better place.
It already is a better place.
Sure is.